what screams, "This is a scam." Or when the job offer says nothing at all and only uses big words like entrepreneur or be your own boss or something like that. I know a girl from school that usually posts on her Facebook about how entrepreneur she is and how her job allowed her to be independent. I still have no idea what she does. Honestly, all I see are videos talking about being financially independent and digital entrepreneur. What it is exactly, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure it's not a digital marketer or a social media manager. For examples, those are 100% legit and we know what they do. And it really gives me the vibes of MLM where they try to fool you with big words until it's too late to turn around. Several years ago, I had a dude I haven't talked since high school add me on Facebook. Accordingly to him, he was fed up with working for other people, so he started his own insurance company. Then proceeded to send me a car policy to look up. With the logo of a well-known multinational insurance, according to him he was the owner. I looked him up. He now sells motivational and economy courses online. I had to talk my neighbor out of one of these. He posted something on Craigslist. Guy called offering more than asking price but lived far away, said he'd add some hundreds more for my neighbor to hand to someone to transport the item. I immediately said it was a scam. Took me 10 minutes to convince him to wait until it actually cleared and not just deposited. Finally got him to call the bank and they backed me up. Sadly, my elderly mother almost fell for this a couple of years ago. Someone called claiming to be my brother and told her he was arrested for rear-ending a pregnant woman, and if his voice sounded different it was because they knocked out all his teeth. He said he needed just over $10,000. She was literally walking out the door to go to the bank when my brother walked in the door. And yes, my brother being arrested would not be a surprise. Edit. My mom did not tell me about this for about 6 months. It came up after she called me because she gave out her banking info over the phone. I spent some time explaining to her that seniors are a target and if it's not someone she knows to just hang up. That's when she told me about this call from my brother. Needless to say, I now manage her finances. Someone did this to my mom once. She even said they sounded like me. Luckily we have a close family friend who is an attorney and she asked them if I wanted her to call him to help with the situation. The person claiming to be me obviously didn't like that idea lol. So that was her first clue. After they hung up she called my phone just to see what would happen. Obviously I answered and confirmed I wasn't in jail lol. They tried to hit my mother with this by claiming to be my niece. She told them they are safer in jail because when they get out she is going to beat their ass for being so fucking stupid for getting locked up to begin with. They tried begging her for money and finally gave up when she kept asking what jail they were being held at because she will come bail them out so she can beat that ass. They learned that day to be thankful that she was not their grandmother. If you think a loved one might be vulnerable to this type of scam, set up a password with them, something simple like the name of Grandma's beloved old dog or something. Tell them that if you ever really need help, you'll use the password. It doesn't have to be something hard to guess like a website password, because the fact that there's a password required at all will be unknown to the scammer. Also works with small children. You can tell them not to let anyone pick them up from school/daycare/etc. without the password. For a while I was getting 1-3 calls a day from someone running a fake tech support scam. Someone probably connected to a legit HP call center because they had the service tag number from one of my old machines. One time I just let them go through their whole routine and played along, but did it on a Linux laptop. They got extremely frustrated trying to figure out why their remote desktop tool wouldn't work. Eventually I memorized their script and started answering the phone with "Thank you for calling HP Tech Support. I see that your computer is generating errors." Last time they called we went around and around for a minute, with me acting surprised that he worked for HP too and asking what building he was in. He finally cracked up and hung up on me. They seemed to get the message after that. Just had one yesterday and I love fucking with those guys anywhere from dragging it out as long as possible by acting very concerned to just asking ridiculous shit. Yesterday the guy starts talking and I hear his accent and I just said, man, I find Indian accents so sexy. What kind of underwear are you wearing? Click. My wife usually messes everything up when I drag it out because she can't stop laughing. One time I managed to sneak in a story about my grandfather fighting in Korea while making this guy think I was legit scared. I spent over 2 years trying to get a mess straightened out with the IRS, and one thing I will tell you, outside of the you already know fact that the IRS will not call you, they will send letters, sometimes certified, but never call, is that when you call them, they are almost always exceedingly polite and helpful. One time I called the wrong number and the person said, well, that's not my department, but let me see what I can do for you, and gave me lots of help. Two men in a white van pull up, one jumps out while the other sits in the driver's seat. The one dude opens the side door and inside the van is a household freezer hooked into an inverter. The man then proceeds to try to sell you $200 in steaks. Then he drops the price to $100. Then he drops the price to $50. Then he looks behind himself, down the road, leaps into the van and they peel off, fairly certain they were not on the up and up. It's like the speaker scam but way more funny. My company has one of their checks used for this scam. For months we had to field calls from people asking why the check was rejected. Because it's not a real check, doofus. Spent 30 minutes once attempting to explain that it wasn't a real check and the guy on the phone arguing that it was, had his name on it. It was signed and had our bank info, so we had to honor it. Nope, that's not how this works. Luckily we had positive pay on our checking account, so only if the number, name and amount matched would it clear. Saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you own or have decision-making ability for a company that writes checks, be sure you have this set up at the bank. I had a guy come up to me in a Home Depot parking lot with over 50 miles from home and don't have enough gas to get there. Story. I said I don't have any cash, but if you follow me to that gas station across the street I'll use my credit card to put enough in your car to get you home. He said forget it you cheap fuck and walked away. I always found that funny. A few years back I was at the train station, and a woman came up to us asking if we had a few bucks because she was trying to get to the city. I think I did have some cash but I said I didn't because it just seemed sketchy. For one, this was like 10 p.m. so I don't think anyone was even at the counter to buy a ticket anyway, unless you can use cash in the machines, not sure. And then when we walked away, some other group came up saying that they had just given her cash. So yeah, pretty sure that was a scam. This happened to me once. The guy had a gas can and a sad story. I walked him over to my truck, opening up the back and gave him a couple gallons of gas out of my can. He looked at me with total hatred in his eyes but just walked away with his can and free gas. A few minutes later I see a cop arresting the dude. I asked the cop's partner what was going on and she tells me that they caught the guy dumping the gas down a storm drain, and when they tried to ticket him he punched the cop. Me and my friend were laughing because they had like thousands of Copic markers all bundled together in a case being sold for 50 cents. For those who don't know much about art, Copic markers are crazily expensive because they are super high quality and good for blending the colors together. Getting a 4-pack of them would probably cost you about $25, even cheaper brands cost like $3 a marker. I get these calls on my work phone which has no car associated with the number. I've learned a couple things from these callers except what a extended car warranty means lol. For one thing, if you answer by introducing yourself like your name and your job position the line will go silent for a few seconds and hang up. I got a real person right away once. After they got started I told them it was my work phone and it went dead silent and they hung up. They realized they fucked up and bailed. Another time I decided to see what would happen if I did choose to be connected to a real person after the automated message. Guy picks up and first thing I hear is a bunch of background noise, followed by a thick Indian accent. I figure it's some sort of scam call center or something. The guy starts talking saying how he has to verify my information, but he doesn't give me a single indication that he has my information. I've been working as a contact tracer during the pandemic and I always have to prove in some way that I am real by sharing a little bit of information that I have. This way I make sure I'm calling the right person. I kept trying to tell the guy that I needed something from him to know that it was real, or at least he was trying to reach the right person. He couldn't even say "Are you Mr. Smith?" or whatever lol. I tried to explain how it should work, but he was very insistent on getting my info without giving anything. I got fed up with him and cursed him out. People like him are part of the reason why I have trouble connecting with people that I need to talk to so that I can help them deal with the pandemic. Hi, hon. I know we haven't talked in a while, but you look amazing. I just started my own business and I thought you'd like to try it, too. You can work from home and set your own hours. I know you're super capable, and such a girl boss. It requires a bit of an investment, but it's an investment in you. Let me know if you're interested and I can set you up in my downline MLM Hunbot who's about to lose all their money and is trying to drag me down with them. When I first got into online dating, like the day after I had created an account, I got a message from some attractive girl who lived in a town about an hour away from me who told me she was a nurse from California but was in the town to take care of her sick granny. There was something about how she phrased that which triggered alarm bells. Almost no one nowadays calls their grandmother granny. She then messaged me and said she wanted to video chat, but the dating site I was on did not have a video chat function. I did some quick googling and found that it's some sort of scam where they send you some sort of third-party link to enter credit card information. Did you know that the average rate for a hotel room 30 years ago was $19? Today it's $237. That's a 1,300% increase, so it's not inconceivable to think that in another 30 years, a week in a hotel runs you 20 grand, but not for you guys. You'll be locked in at $1,400 annually. I'm not talking about taking a vacation, guys. I'm talking about owning a vacation. And look, if you're still not comfortable with the numbers, you just double down. You get 2 weeks. Sell that second week, boom, you're vacationing for free. You know what? I have a problem with this. My boss got one of those emails that said call Microsoft right away. Your computer is seriously broken, and to his credit he asked me about it rather than just forking over his credit card. I called the number on speakerphone. It was a scammer, of course, and took the poor guy on the other end for a ride through technical absurdity, to demonstrate to my boss that 1, this wasn't Microsoft, and 2, the guy was a scammer, not IT support. After the call, my boss said, "Now I see, he had an Indian accent. That's how you knew it was a scam," completely missing the point. Many of the engineers we work with, from entirely legitimate companies, are of Indian heritage and in fact also have Indian accents. Good day and Happy New Year. I'm Prince Henry Charles Albert David, Duke of Sussex, England. I'm into orphanage home helping the less privileged ones all over the world, but now I would like to invest in your country with the sum of GBP 40 million British pound. I'm seeking for your assistance to receive the funds until I come over to meet with you. This money was given to me by the British Red Cross Lesotho Fund. I'm contacting you based on trust. All I need from you is your cooperation, honest and confidential. After you receiving the funds, 25% will be taken as your own share, 5% for every expenditure, while the remaining 70% for me. But my question is, can I trust you? Because I'm a very busy person. Please reply for more details if you are interested. Thanks and God bless. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. Early in my job hunt I was applying all over on Indeed, and so I got a text about a job and the pay was $25.00 an hour. So I jumped at it. That's a lot of money. So I did the interview, and during the interview red flags started popping up. It was going to be a work-from-home job and I needed certain equipment and they were going to send me a check. That was the big red flag, but I went along with it because the pay was too good to just walk away from, so they sent me the check, and when the check issuing company didn't match the company I was supposed to be working for, I stopped right there. I tried to contact the postmaster to report fraud, but frankly it was too much bureaucratic red tape and not worth my time, so I just dropped it. I went as far as I was comfortable with. I was leery, but the money was too good to not explore it as far as I did, not knowing at the time it was a scam. When a company straight up wants you to use WhatsApp versus email because it's easier than email, no, you're a lazy shit that won't admit to your scam and you're not even trying hard enough. For about a week I've been dealing with this Marvel Studio scam. I knew it was fake because why the hell would Marvel ask me to promote a streaming service for upcoming movies and shows on my YouTube? I'm not even famous. 389 subs ain't shit. Also the fact that every other email was in Spanish. I told them, I do not speak Spanish at all. Yet, they did it every other time. I just saw a Facebook post in a local group with someone saying their company, without even naming the company, was giving away $50 to the first 50 people who could see the secret code in the picture. Really easy to see the numbers. People were actually commenting and the op replied, DM me. How do these people not realize it's a scam when it's this obvious? Hey girly, I can't believe we haven't spoken since high school. Anyway, I was wondering if you were interested in earning some extra just by working from home. Just this month I made an extra $1,500 working in my PJs. I'm looking for 5 people to join my team. It's totally like a sisterhood and it only costs $99.99 to start up your very own business. Message me back if you're interested and maybe we can go get a coffee and talk about it. Smile. Credit cards fraud is managed by the bank, not Visa. I also don't think they'd know what the charges are for, just the merchant ID. Door scammer, hi, we're here to inspect your gas heater and check the bill to make sure you are getting the correct rates. Me, what company are you with? Then, door scammer, mumble. I had to call the police for that one. Guy put his foot in the door and wouldn't leave. The scam there is that they'll tell you need a new tank and swindle you into renting one for $200 a month. If you don't bite, they try to get you to switch to better rates, meaning a third-party distributor with insanely high rates. If that also fails, they'll get you to sign their work order, which is a transfer to buying from them anyway. They'll get your name, account number, etc. from the bill they wanted to see. It's a 3-pronged scam. This is your bank, you have been charged many monies, send me your information to get the money back. Do it now, or all your money is gone, your dog will die and I will lose my job and my dog will die and you are a terrible person. Click this link to get your monies, etc. lol. And my aunt literally fell for this kind of thing only a few weeks ago. Bless her poor, trusting, naive soul. I'm just gonna drop this in here for the folks who still think the vaccine is a scam. Copied my comment from another thread. Yes, vaccinated people can still catch the virus. That is true for literally every vaccine in existence. The difference is that vaccinated people are significantly less likely to have the virus take root in them when exposed. And for the small number of people in whom the virus does take root, they are significantly less likely to get sick to the point of hospitalization. And of those who do get sick to that point, it is further significantly less likely for them to die as a result. Finally, the vaccine makes it so that those who have been vaccinated and still catch COVID actually weaken the virus, so that it is harder for that virus, when exposed to others, to take root in them. Latest data shows that 99.5% of all COVID deaths in America since the distribution of the vaccines have been unvaccinated, and I might be mistaken on this data point, but in the last month, 97% of all COVID hospitalizations have been unvaccinated. The data is literally out in the open, provided by the CDC. Just get vaccinated, people. Back in college, I'd see flyers everywhere advertising high-paying work you can do from home. I'd tear them down and see more put up a few days later. One day, One of my roommates came to me about a great opportunity he found and showed me something he ripped off one of those flyers. I told him it was a scam, but he insisted it was legit. A few weeks later, I heard him complaining about losing some money because of that great opportunity.